Hello student, welcome to my class. Today I am going to take class 11 geography. The book name is Fundamental of Physical Geography. It is chapter 4 and the name of the chapter is Distribution of Ocean and Continent. So basically in this chapter you are going to read about how the ocean and the continent took its present position. So as you know that the earth is consist of ocean and land occupy 29% and ocean occupy 71%, and the presently how the ocean and lands are located, this position was this position there in same way in the past or not, and how this position actually come into existence. To explain this, there are many theories and we are going to analyze those theory one by one and try to understand how the present location of earth, the present distribution of ocean and the continent was achieved. So let us analyze those theory one by one. So first and foremost we are going to analyze the continental drift theory. This was the first theory given in 1915, and this theory was given because many scientists and the geographer, when they used to see the world map and they used to see the coastline of Atlantic Ocean, and they used to see the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean near the America, both the America and near Europe and Africa. While seeing those coastline, they used to feel that there is some it is very symmetrical and it look like it is a two part of a same puzzle. So this type of doubt used to come in the minds of the geographer and scientists. Were this continent together once upon a time? So there were many scientists who agree with this thought, but Alfred Wegener justified this with his theory called continental drift theory. And according to this theory, which he gave in 1915, he said that 200 million years ago, long back, 200 million years ago, all the continents were joined together in a single landmass called Pangaea. And this land was a supercontinent because all the continent was joined together in this Pangaea, and Pangaea means all earth, and this Pangaea was surrounded by a water body called Panthalassa. Panthalassa means all water. So there was a mega ocean around Pangaea, and that was called Panthalassa. So this is Pangaea. It look like this. Here all the continents are looking combined together. Then what happened? This Pangaea broke. It broke into two parts. It broken into Laurasia and Gondwana land. And then what happened? After they split into two parts, when the Pangaea broken into two parts, Gondwana land and the Laurasia, then this Laurasia and Gondwana again broken into many parts, many sub-parts, and then by breaking away from each other, the present position of the continent was achieved. And this is the way he said that this way the different continent has come into present position. So Alfred Wegener, to prove his theory, he gave many evidences to justify his theory. Like the various evidences of this was, he first said that look at the map of South America and Africa. When you look into the continents of South America and Africa, their coastline look like they are a part of a same puzzle. They are like a remarkable and unmistakable match. So, and the second argument he gave that look at the rock of these two continents. They are of the same ages. How can the rock of America have the same age as like the rock of Africa? That means they were formed at the same time. So he gave this map. In this you can see that Africa is coming near to the America. Both America and Africa are together here shown to show you that they are looking like a part of a same puzzle. In puzzle game, when you try to assemble the blocks, and the same types of puzzles, they interlock each other. Like same way, if you bring the Africa and South America together, they can join each other very easily, and it will look like that they were part of the same parts. They were some parts of the same block earlier. So this map was one of his proof to prove his continental drift theory. The second argument he gave that the rock in both the places are same. The third argument which he gave to explain his theory is the type of rock. If you study the types of rock present in South America and in Africa, they are of the same type. Both the rocks are of same type. How can the rock in the America, South America and Africa is of same type, having the same type of sediment under them, that is tillite sediments, and how the mineral deposit in both the places are same? Same types of minerals are found in South America and same types of minerals are found in Africa. Same type of fossils of plants and animals are found in South America and same type of fossils are found in South Africa and America. Both the side you find the same types of fossils. So what is fossil? Fossil is actually the dead remains of earlier plants and animals which are deposited, which we can found inside the rocks. Alright. So in the rocks, when you found the fossil, they are of same type. In South America also and in Africa also, we have the same type of fossils of plants and animals. And also the mountain ranges in both the places are same. And at the same time, there is some ice sheets present in the hot places of these regions. So how in a hot places you can find the ice sheet? It means earlier they were in some other parts which were cold. Alright. So this all are the argument given by Alfred Wegener to justify his continental drift theory. So, okay, these are the arguments he gave to justify his theory, but the scientist and geographer questioned him. Okay, alright, we agree that these continents were the parts of the same continent called Pangaea, but give us the reason how this Pangaea broken away. Why this Pangaea broken away? What are the forces behind breaking away of Pangaea? So to justify his theory, he gave two forces for the breaking away of Pangaea, and those forces were pole fleeing force. Pole fleeing force says that because of the pole fleeing force, the continent got broken away. According to this, he said that actually the Wegener believed that this Pangaea was around southern pole. Alright. And because of the rotation of the earth, because of the forces which are created by the rotation of the earth, the centrifugal force, because of the centrifugal force, what happened? The object moved away from its center. So its center point was, Pangaea's center point was south pole. So because of the centrifugal force and the rotation of the earth, this continent moved away from south pole towards the equator and northern pole. So, because of the rotation of the earth and the centrifugal forces, this Pangaea was moving away. Because of the rotation of the earth, it was moving away from the pole, from the southern pole towards the equator and northern hemisphere, and this way, because of this movement, they got broken away in between. The second forces which he explained to explain his theory was why this Pangaea got broken away is the tidal force. He said the tidal force which in which the sun and moon put attraction on the earth, and because of this attraction the tides rises in and falls in the ocean. So that this tidal force which is created by sun and moon's attraction is also one of the reason for breaking away of Pangaea according to Wegener. Wegener said that this attraction force from sun and moon is falling on earth from millions of years, and this force has forced the Pangaea to break away in different parts. So these are the two arguments he gave why the Pangaea got broken away. But the scientist and geographer does not feel that these forces are strong enough to break the big Pangaea. So they did not actually agree with continental drift theory. So after the continental drift studies, many other studies were done on this regard, and ocean floor mapping was started, and then the people started preparing map for the ocean, and then come the conventional current theory. Arthur Humes gave a new theory to explain the position of ocean and continent, and he gave this theory in 1930. And according to this conventional current theory, he said that there in the mantle, the second layer of the earth, the first layer is crust and the second layer is mantle. In the mantle, the molten rocks are present. The rocks are there not in a solid form. In the mantle, the rocks are in the molten form, in the liquid form, because the temperature is so high. And this molten rock is moving, and because of this movement, the continent drift away from each other. When the mapping of the ocean floor was done, during this mapping the scientists found out that in the ocean floor you have the same type of physical structure like you have on the land. Like in the land you have the plain, plateau and the mountain, same way inside the ocean also you have these features. You have the floor, you have the plains, you have the mountains, you have the plateau. Everything found on the earth is also being found in the ocean floor, and it is found in the margins of the continent. That means these physical features are forcing the continent to move away from each other, and because of this the continent got separated from each other according to the conventional current theory. In the mapping of ocean floor, they saw a mid-oceanic ridge. What is mid-oceanic ridge? Mid-oceanic ridge is actually the series of mountains. There are big series of mountains found in the oceans, and this big series of mountains, how they came into existence, how the mountains were formed in the ocean. So he gave a theory called to explain this. He said that mid-oceanic ridges, these mountains have been formed from the magma which is coming from the volcanic eruption, and this volcanic eruption is releasing magma, and this magma is depositing layer by layer, and then they are taking a shape of a mountain. And this is being formed in the ocean, because inside the ocean also the volcanoes are there and volcanic eruption is taking place. And then the scientists took the rock from the ridges, from the mid-oceanic ridges. They took the rock and they studied the rock, and they found the edges of the rock, and they came to know that the rock in front of the ridges are young, and the rock in front of the continent are old, and they are of the same age. That means these continents are once upon a time a same single land, and this because the rock age is same of both the sides of the continent, and it is also of the same type of rock. So that's why they believe that these rocks are same in both the side of continent. That means these continents were part of a single land earlier, and also the old rocks of the continents are old and the rocks of the ocean are young. That means the ocean rocks are found in a recent time, and the rocks of the continent were formed long back. That means this continent was joined together, and in between that ocean's volcanic eruption took place, and the young rocks were formed, and they are moving away the continents from each other. So this was the conventional current theory given by Arthur Humes, and both this argument he gave to justify his conventional current theory. Now we are going to see the ocean floor configuration. So what is ocean floor configuration? According to the ocean floor configuration, when you see the ocean and you want to divide the ocean into different parts on the basis of its depth and relief feature, and when you try to divide it, you can divide it into three parts. You can divide it into continental margin, second is abyssal plain, and third is mid-oceanic ridges. So what is continental margin? See, when you are in the seashore, and from the seashore you start walking towards the deep sea. So when you are moving towards from the seashore to the deep sea, you will find a slope, a big depression. You will feel like you are falling, you are going down in a big depression area, and the water level is increasing, and that is what continental margin is. Continental margin actually consists of continental shelf, continental slope, continental rise, and deep sea trenches. And after this the water level really increases. Alright. So what is continental shelf? Continental shelf is after the seashore, the area of the sea is called continental shelf, And then the continental slope is the depression area. You will find that the sea is going downwards. That is continental slope. And the continental rise, you will find there itself where the water level is started rising. And some deep sea trenches also you will find in this part. What is deep sea trenches? Trenches are actually the deepest part of the sea. In between the sea, you have very so many depression area, like deep hole inside the sea, and that is called trenches. Alright, the second part of ocean floor configuration is abyssal plain. So after the continental margin, the abyssal plain start. In the abyssal plain, when you go deep inside the ocean, this slope stops, and then you get the plain area. In that plain area, this plain area is like a plane of a earth, like the plane, like for example the northern plain. It is a smooth area inside the mountain. After going deep into the sea, you will find some plain area inside the ocean, and that is called abyssal plain. And this abyssal plain is between the continental margin and the oceanic ridge. And this plain is actually made up of the sediment brought by the waves. So when the waves are flowing in the river, they also do so many erosional activity inside the ocean. When the waves are flowing in ocean actually, and they do so many erosional activity inside the ocean, and this erosional material which they get in the erosional activity, they deposit in the floor, and this deposited sediments only make the abyssal plain. Because it is a depression area, it is in that area they deposited this sediment, and this has led to the formation of abyssal plain inside the ocean. And then after abyssal plain, you will find a mid-oceanic ridge. What is mid-oceanic ridge? It is actually a chain of mountain found inside the ocean. And it is one of the longest mountain chain found on the earth. And it is happening due to volcanic activity. These mountains are being formed inside the ocean because of the volcanic activity. Because magma is being released from the volcano, and they are settling in a layer by layer and leading to the formation of mountains inside the ocean. So in this figure you can actually see the continental margin, abyssal plain, and the mid-oceanic ridge. So continental margin is actually consist of continental shelf, continental slope, and continental rise. So all these three places you can see in this figure. In the left side you have the continental shelf, and then the continental slope where the slope is decreasing, you are going downwards, and continental rise, the water level is increasing. And then you go deep inside the sea and you find a abyssal plain, a smooth area. And then after the abyssal plain, you will find the mid-oceanic ridges, the mountainous area. Alright, now we are going to see the distribution of volcano and earthquake in the world. So these are the distribution of volcano earthquake shown in the map, and this same map is given in your book, so you can study this map in your book also. In this map you will find some symbols like the big black dots and the tiny black dots. The big black dots are actually hotspots of volcano. Tiny black dots are also volcanic area, but the big black dots are actually hotspots of the volcano. And you have the gray shaded region in this map, and tiny gray dots in this region. The tiny gray dots are also earthquake area, but there less earthquakes are found. But in the gray shaded region, you get lots of earthquake. So this distribution I recommend you to look once, because it can come in map, and you have to locate the area of heavy earthquake area or low earthquake area or hotspots of volcano, and all these things you can ask for the location. Alright, so now we are going to see the another theory to explain the position of ocean and continent. So this is sea floor spreading theory by Hess, and he gave this theory in 1961. According to him, the ocean floor is spreading. According to him, the ocean floor is spreading. When the ocean floor mapping was done and the edges of rock was found out, and they find out that because of the volcanic eruption, the mid-oceanic ridges have been formed. So they started studying the rock ages, and they found out some interesting facts, like rocks of equal distance are having the same age, same time formation. This I will explain you with little so that you can understand in a better way. See, you have the mid-oceanic ridge in between the sea, and when you do the rock study, you first study the rocks of 5 kilometers from both sides, and you find them of same age, and then you study more further 5 kilometers, he's this side and this side, and you find their age also same. So these two are having the same age, and these two are also having the same age. Alright, and then you further go from this side, the distance is going on, when the distance is increasing to this side, when the distance, you are covering the distance this side, you are going to this side, the age of the rocks is increasing, increasing in number, and also this side the same way the rock age is increasing. So in the equal distance of the ridges, you have the same time of formation of rock. It means that this volcano is continuously erupting lava, and so the rocks near the volcanoes are of same age, far away from the volcano are of same age. So this way the rock age is increasing. That means old rocks are being pushed away this side and this side, and new rocks is being deposited near the volcano. Alright, so this because of this, what is happening? The old rocks are pushed up in the opposite direction, and sea floor is spreading. So this oceanic crust was studied, and the continental crust was also studied. So when you study the crust of ocean and the continent, you find that oceanic crust are younger than the continent crust, and the sediment of the ocean floor, the soils of the ocean floor are younger and thinner compared to the soils of the continents. So when the soils of the continents are old, that means continents were older than ocean, and it is thick also. The ocean, the continent soil is thick because layer by layer was deposited in course of time, but the soil of the ocean is thin. That means it is of recent time formation. And the earthquake is common in front of ridges. The continuous volcanic eruption is taking place in the ridges. Continuous earthquake is taking place in that ridges because it is a young weak zone. Alright, and this is leading to the formation of new crust, and it is spreading the floor of the ocean in the both side, and because of which the continents are moving away from each other. So this was actually the theory given by Hess to justify the to explain the location of ocean and continent. So another theory was also given, that is called plate tectonic theory, and it was given in 1967 by Mackenzie, Parker and Morgan. Together all the three gave this theory, and they tried to explain the present position of ocean and continent, the reason behind the present position of ocean and continent. And this theory is actually widely and mostly accepted theory. So most of the geographers today agree with this theory, plate tectonic theory. So according to the plate tectonic theory, he said that all the earth is made up of plates, and this plate is actually very giant plates, very big plates, and it is made up of solid rocks, and these plates are in an irregular shape. They are not like regular triangle or rectangle or square. They are of irregular shape and big mass of land, and it consists of both. It consists of continental lithosphere and oceanic lithosphere, and the thickness of each lithosphere is different. Like if you see the lithosphere of ocean, it is little thinner. It is from 5 to 100 kilometer, and if you see the thickness of continent lithosphere, then it is little thicker. It is about 200 kilometer. So this theory says that lithosphere is actually consists of 7 major and some minor plates, and those major plates are like plates of Antarctica with its surrounding ocean, North American plate, South American plate, Pacific plate, Indo-Australian plate with New Zealand, and African plates with Eastern Atlantic floor plate, and Eurasian plate with adjacent ocean area. And also apart from this 7 major plate, there are some minor plates also they talk about. They said that there is some minor plate like Cocos plate, which is between Central America and Pacific plate, and Nazca plates, which is between the South America and Pacific plate, and Arabian plate, which mostly having the Saudi Arabian landmass, and Philippine plate, which is between the Asiatic and Pacific plate. And then there are other plate like Caroline plate, which is between Philippine and Indian plate, and Fuji plate, which includes northeastern Australia. So these are some major and minor plates. So he said that Earth is actually divided into some major and minor plates, and this plate is also shown to you in the map form. So I recommend you to read this map, because this map can also come in mapping, and all those major and minor plates are shown in this map. So you can look into this map, it's given in your book also. So after this explanation that the plate is divided into so many 7 major and some minor plates, he said that it is not the continent which is drifting. Wegener said that continent is moving away from each other, but he said it is not the continent. It is the plate which is moving, and the continents are actually the parts of the plate, and because the plate is moving, so the continent which is present in this plate is also moving along with the plates. And this plate is moving because there is a molten lava flowing inside the plates in the mantle area and the core area. The liquid molten lava is flowing, and this flowing molten lava is moving the plate, and it moved in the past, it's moving in the present, and it's going to move in the future also. So the Wegener, who talked about Pangea, he said, okay, the Pangea existed, and it existed because of the converging of the plate. Because all the plates converged with each other. The plates of different plates were converging with each other, and then they led to the formation of Pangea. And he talked about 3 types of movement, or 3 types of plate boundary. So first plate boundary he talked about was the divergent boundary. So he talked 3 types of boundary: divergent, convergent, and transform boundary. So first let's discuss the divergent boundary. According to this, he said that in this what happened, the 2 plates pull away from each other. The 2 plates move away from each other, and when they move away from each other, what happened, if the one plate is moving this side and another plate is moving this side, in between this area, when they move away from each other, then in this area the new crust will get created, and that's why this new crust is getting created because of the divergent boundary, and that's why it is called a spreading sides boundary. Means it is spreading the crust area. Example of the divergent movements can be mid-oceanic ridge, which is present in Atlantic Ocean, and because of which it is between the 2 American continents and Eurasian and African continent, and it is between these plates, and so because of this the new crust is getting formed in the ocean, and the continents are moving away from each other. So he explained this divergent boundary. Then he explained the second type of boundary, and that is convergent boundary. So in the convergent boundary, what is happening? One plate is coming towards the another plate. So one plate is coming from this side, another plate is coming from this side, and what happened? They bump each other, and one plate gets slided over the another plate. So one plates get overlap over each other, one get over the other plates. And when they get one over the another, what is happening? The some parts of the crust is getting destroyed. So when they are taking this much part, this is making a single crust, and this much area is getting lost. This much crust is getting destroyed because of the convergent boundary. So this is also called subjection zone, because one plate is getting under the above, and in this the destruction of the crust take place. And in this there is 3 way of convergent movement. One is when the 2 ocean plates converge each other, or second is when the two continental plate converge each other, and the third one is when the convergence take place between oceanic plate and the continental plates. So this is called convergent boundary. So he talk about under plate tectonic movement, the three types of boundary, and the third boundary is transform boundary. In the transform boundary is what is happening, neither the crust is being created nor the crust is being destroyed. One plate is going this side, another plate is going another plate is going this side, but they, while going, they are just touching and rubbing each other and horizontally passing each other. Alright, so in this neither the plate get constructed nor the plate get destructed, only they horizontally pass each other. So this you can see in the figure also. The first figure is of the divergent boundary where the plate is getting separated from each other and moving away from each other. Second is transform boundary where the plate just bypass each other, they horizontally past each other. And third one is convergent boundary where the one plate is getting subjected under the another plate. So now we understood that the plate is moving. Now the question arises at which rate the plate is moving. So the movement of the plate is actually measured with the Crib meter, and every plate moves in a different speed. It varies from plate to plate. The plate Arctic ridge plate is moving in the most lowest speed of 2.5 centimeter per year, whereas on the East Pacific rise near Easter Island in the South Pacific about 1,400 km from the west of Chile, this is moving in the fastest rate, and it is moving about 15 centimeter per year. That is about distance of a small scale, right? So they are moving this much every year. And now the question arises, what are the forces because of which this plate is moving? So he said that because of two forces this plate is getting moved. Is because the molten lava is moving inside the earth, and the earth is not like a made up of solid. Only the crust is of solid. The inside mantle is of liquid. Alright. So he said, like Wegener said, that the earth is a solid and motionless. It is not correct. The plate tectonic theory says that earth is liquid from the mantle layer, and it is continuously conventional current is flowing inside the molten lava in the mantle area, and because of this movement of molten lava, the plates are moving. So now let's study the movement of Indian plate. So actually Indian plate also formed because of this type of movement only. Once upon a time, the southern India, the peninsular part of the India, was the part of Australian plate, and then because of the divergent movement, the India plate got separated from the Australian plate, and they started moving toward the Eurasian plate, and there they collided with the Eurasian plate. The Tibetan block and the Indian plate get collided with each other near the Tethys Sea, and this way the India get joined to the Asia, and this incident happened 40 to 50 million years ago, and to make this journey happen, it took 200 million years for India to travel from Australia towards the Eurasian plate. And because of this collision, what happened when the Indian plate came from this side, and you had the Tibetan plate, the force came from both the sides. Here also the force came from downward, and the force came from top one. Both the side, when the forces came, when you put the force in a book from the opposite direction, what happened? The book get folded. And same way, when the force was applied from two opposite side on the crust got folded like this, and this led to the upliftment of Himalaya in our country, and this way Himalaya got formed. And before joining to the India, this Indian plate, they had a volcanic eruption on its way, and lot of lava released in those journey, and that led to the formation of plateau in that area. In the peninsular, plateau was formed in that during its journey, and the Deccan Trap you see in the southern part of India is result of those volcanic eruption only, and this happened about 60 million years ago. And the scientists believe the collision which took place between Indian plate and the Tibetan plate is still going on. It still not came to an end. Still some new development you can see near the Himalayas. Still some new ranges come near the Himalayas. Still the heights of Himalaya is noticed to some extent. So still this process is going on. So this is about the movement of Indian plate, and that's all in your chapter. I hope you understand this chapter. If you like this chapter, please like, share and subscribe my channel. MP Social View. Thank you student. Thanks for watching and happy learning.